I think I still want to open up a shop. Like when it comes down to it, I want to open up my own shop called Wise Cup. And yeah, man,
Trademark that fast.
you know what I mean? Hey, man, we already in the building.
What's up, guys? Mikey Fresh here from Vibe Magazine. Got my boy Sylvan LaCue. He's actually a barista and a coffee connoisseur. We're here at Ludlow Coffee Supply, about to make a fresh cup. So come join us.
Yes, sir.
I know how it is, yeah, I know how it goes. I know what you're feeling.
But talk about the significance of why we're here at a coffee shop and why you're able to get behind the bar and why you know what you're doing. So without any lessons or anything.
I was a barista for about a year and change. Started working at Blue Bottle Coffee. Was living in Oakland. I had a real affinity for coffee. I still have an affinity for coffee. So I felt like it was best for me to be able to like learn my trade and learn what I was drinking. Since I was spending so much money on it, might as well, know how to make what I'm spending my money on.
Before you became a barista, like you were already a coffee lover and you loved it already.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it just fascinated me, especially, third wave and, being able to, just the entire environment of like coffee shops really fascinated me because it always sparks conversation. It's a place to congregate.
Man,
How it
thank
rocks,
you,
man.
bro.
Of course.
Enjoy this.
Of course, man.
Take a big sip for the camera.
Of course,
Really
man.
appreciate it.
Of course, there's no worries. That's what I'm here for. If I can provide anything for free, it's coffee.
Perfect, man. But just a minute ago you said that literally the first song you recorded from the album was Coffee Break.
Yeah.
And I think it's super fitting that we're back, in like your home setting, I should say.
Yeah, 100%.
But what other inspirations did you have for this album? Because apologies in advance. It's very much like, to me, I thought of it as a literal musical therapy session.
Yeah.
Even the way it's broken down.
100%. I mean, it is. It's very in your face. It's apologies in advance. We're gonna get into some shit. Like that's really kind of what it's about. I think the initial inspiration came from. I want to say. I think in terms of crafting the album, I'd say from Jay's 444. Because because we had apologies in advance, the name already, but we didn't know where we wanted to take it. We just knew that was the name.
Concept-wise, you weren't exactly sure.
And we had a couple conversations, me and my team, and we spoke with my boy Nick Billardello, who's been a really great friend of mine for a long time. And I remember him calling me and my other business partner, Jonathan Benavente, who shoots everything, and he just told us the entire concept, and it was fitting for a while, but I think like Jay's 444 and his transparency and him being able to kind of step off of his pedestal and be as...
Right, and shed a bunch of layers and just have like a real sense of honesty that we've never heard from him.
Yeah, especially as a whole fan, that inspired me, and I felt like, well, how can I add my contributions to the things that I've been going through and, writing the songs that I had already written. And just kind of like, let's have a group therapy session and let's get some people together and let's talk about some issues that have to relate with the songs. And
and very much, like you were saying, you were inspired by 444, Jay-Z's album, his most honest, most sincere.
Yeah.
And this album is literally your most sincere, your most honest. Some of the topics that you touch on are things like mental health issues.
Yeah.
Your own insecurities, and just growing as that teenage kid to oh man, I'm in my 20s now. I'm a bit older. I've seen a lot. I've traveled. I've performed all around.
Yeah, 100%.
Were you nervous to really put that all on Front Street and just let it all out there and all the little voices in your head, let everyone hear them?
Not as nervous as I thought I was gonna be because it wasn't really about me. It wasn't like an album that was just about me. It wasn't like, hey, this is my story and this is what I'm going through. It was like, yeah, I'm going through these things as well, but we're all going through these things. And that's what I wanted to convey with the album because I knew that if I put these records together, it would feel like, oh, this is just him being vulnerable, as opposed to, hey, there are other people who feel the same exact way, and it's not just me, and it's not just you who's listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you filled that in with personal testimonials from people, and everything everyone's saying is literally things that play through our minds every day. Whether we're not brave enough to say it on an album, but these are things that we all think about. Like you have songs like Empathy.
Yeah.
for you, like, what did that take for you to really reach into that zone and put it out there?
I think I had to admit to myself that, you know, empathy is a very, it's something I struggle with, and not in terms of like having a lack of it, but having too much of it.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? Where it's like I put myself in everybody else's shoes, and I think of other people all the time before I think of myself.
You kind of feel like you take on people's pain too, and take on their own struggles, especially of like your family and your friends.
Yeah, 100%. And a big part of that was also to run away from things that I needed to face. You know, and so once I found myself starting to get exhausted by a lot of people and a lot of situations and scenarios that didn't necessarily turn out really well, I had to look myself in the mirror and be like, well, why do I not think about myself enough? You know, why am I always kind of running away from things that, or subconsciously running away from things that I know I need to confront and face? And that's why I wanted to write about empathy, because I feel like whenever we talk about empathy, it's like we need more of it, you know, but I also wanted to flip the conversation and be like, sometimes it can be detrimental and be a defense mechanism.
Pull back a bit.
Yeah, 100%. It could be a defense mechanism towards not facing shit that you need to face for yourself.
What were like some of the more harder songs for you to record, or maybe even just finish? I know a lot of times you start a song and then you might not finish it in one session, but were there any songs on the album that were just like a little too emotional or a little too deep, where you were just like, man, like, I don't know how I can get through this one?
Yeah, 100%. I think the hardest one emotionally was Selfish. That was, and that's
like, the one I see a lot of people on Twitter like really relate to.
Yeah, 100%.
It was out a bit earlier.
Yeah, because it's just very plain and cut dry. You know, it's like I worry about everybody else. I need to make time for myself. Like, that's a confessional. It's like, yeah, you kind of do, you know? And right. It's like, it was a song where I felt like I was calling my own bullshit and calling my own bluffs. Like, yo, like, how do you not know that you're first? You know what I mean?
Got you.
And that was hard. It was like a very hard conversation to have with myself.
Definitely. I think sometimes you really gotta, kind of step out of yourself and look from the outside looking in and be like, wait, I kind of was bugging. I kind of was going a little wild there. Or maybe like, oh man, maybe I was right in that situation when I did pull back. Yeah. I think it works both ways. Sometimes you realize that, you were a little extra, and sometimes you were like, man, I should have been more extra and fought for something I believed in. Yeah,
100%. It can go either way, and I think that's what the album in general is about. It's just taking yourself outside of yourself and, being unbiased and just being very real about, things that we're all going through. Yeah, 100%.